Morning. I was born, raised, and have lived my entire life right here in Washington County, Maryland. I grew up in Clear Spring, I lived a few years in Hagerstown, and now I'm here in Sharpsburg, just a few minutes walk from Antietam Battlefield. I like it here. It's home. It's comfortable. But am I proud to be from here? On the one hand, people who are always bitching about this place, how nothing ever happens, how they can't wait to move somewhere else, they get on my nerves. It's not that bad around here. On the other hand, all of the people who contribute to mail call live here. All of them. The comments I'm about to mock with a tone of smug superiority were printed in editions of mail call in the Herald-Mail between April 20th and April 30th. To all you supporters for President Obama policies, why did the president mock me and my fellow Tea Partiers? Why isn't he the president of all the people? Why is the president mocking a significant number of us fellow Americans by saying he is amused by us? We are not amused by his spending in additions to the debt of this country. We can only but try to get him to listen and take us seriously. Hagerstown. The president doesn't take you seriously because you aren't serious people. You may think of yourselves as serious people. You unquestionably are concerned about some serious issues. But until the members of your movement take a few basic steps, like educating themselves on the facts of the issues they're protesting over, speaking out against the racists, birthers, and religious fanatics that, to many of us on the outside, are the face of your movement, and taking a forceful, passionate, unequivocal stand against the exhortations to violence emanating from within the Tea Party movement, you aren't serious. If you want to be taken seriously, Tea Partiers, you have to stop behaving like an angry mob. You can't have both. When he was running for president in 1992, Pat Buchanan referred to his supporters as peasants with pitchforks. But how many terms was Pat Buchanan's presidency? That's right, 0. Also, it might help the rest of us to take you seriously if you find better spokespeople and candidates than this woman, or this woman, or this idiot. Just some friendly advice. Here's one from Smithsburg. If Congress keeps operating the way that it is, before long, in order to be in conformity with what's really happening, Nancy Pelosi will call the House to order by slamming her gavel and saying, "Come on down and let's play Let's Make a Deal." Did they say come on down and let's make a deal? I thought that was intellectual property of The Price is Right. And what is so wrong with making deals? We all hate corrupt politicians, and I know that most of our representatives cut crooked deals with lobbyists, with donors, with each other so often that it's like second nature to them. But the vehemence, the disgust with which people, mostly on the right, but not exclusively, object to the deal-making that goes into, say, the health care reform bill, is such that I think what pisses them off isn't corruption, but cooperation. Republican politicians like John McCain, who try to reach across the aisle and work with Democrats, are called traitors, or worse yet, moderates. Republican pundits and writers like David Frum, who treat their political opponents with respect instead of as enemies of civilization, are called squishes or rhinos. What is it about democracy that you don't get, Smithsburg? You'd prefer a one-party state. As long as it's your party that's controlling things, is that it? Doesn't sound like America to me. Sounds more like, what was that? There we go. Hey, that felt good. No wonder conservatives are always accusing liberals of being communists. I could get used to this feeling. Anyway. I'm calling to say that I think Roethlisberger is a disgrace to quarterbacks like Terry Bradshaw. He shouldn't be playing football anymore. He dishonored the profession. Hagerstown. Oh, yes. Dishonoring the profession of NFL football. I can relate. I always said the worst part of Chris Benoit murdering his wife and son than committing suicide was the disgrace that it brought to the honorable profession of pro wrestling. This is for all you people who believe in global warming, and also for those of you who do not believe in global warming. Follow Nostradamus. That pretty much explains it all and tells you the path that we're on. Boonesboro. I Googled Nostradamus and global warming to find out what the hell this guy was talking about. Best I could find was this. At the 48th degree of the climacteric, at the end of Cancer, so great is the drought that fish in the sea, river, and lake are boiled hectically. Southwest France in distress from fire in the sky. Nostradamus, Century 5, Quatrain 98. I can make neither heads nor tails of that, but I also found a copy of a letter Nostradamus wrote to his younger brother Jean in 1559 that says, "Bro, this prophecy shit is mad easy. You just make everything so fucking vague that it sounds like you might be writing about something specific, but really you could be talking about anything. And write it to sound ominous and mystical, like you're imparting forbidden knowledge you, stole from some divine source or something. Sure, most people with half a brain in their head will see right away that you're just full of shit, but there'll always be enough gullible rubes to keep you in silk robes and fancy feather quills. Like this Catherine de Medici bitch." That's translated from the original French. Here's a call from Hancock. "Why so much fuss over feeling sorry for people who don't have medical insurance? I remember many years ago when I got all the care I needed from a clinic, I sometimes had to wait in the waiting room for an hour or two, but that happens just as often with a private facility. People are not denied basic health care. If people choose to abuse their bodies to the extremes, then other people shouldn't have to be responsible for fixing them. I've worked years at lousy jobs just so I could have medical insurance. I am responsible for me." We have a free clinic in Hagerstown. We should all be grateful for it because it's a wonderful and very much needed thing. But whenever opponents of healthcare reform talk about healthcare, they always bring up things like free clinics or emergency rooms or how it's illegal for any medical facility to refuse you necessary treatment. And the free clinic or the ER is great if you have a broken leg or even if you have a sore throat and you don't have medical coverage. But what if you have cancer? You really want to go to the free clinic to get your chemotherapy? Or AIDS? Do you really want your antiretroviral therapy to be managed by the intern at the emergency room? Have you ever been to the emergency room at the hospital here in Hagerstown? No offense to those doctors and nurses. They're overworked and they're just doing the best they can, but I guarantee you, the only reason most of them work there is because no place else called them back. Here's one from my hometown. "What is the difference between alcohol and drugs? Public comment appreciated." There is no difference. I think we ought to treat so-called soft drugs, and by that I mostly mean marijuana, which I've never even wanted to smoke, by the way, lest you doubt my motivations, the same way we treat alcohol and tobacco. We should tax and regulate the shit out of it, but for anyone over the age of 18, it should be completely legal. It'll do no harm. Actually, it'll do some good. The government will have a brand new, untapped source of tax revenue, and scumbag, gangster drug smugglers and dealers will have one less thing to shoot at each other and kill innocent people over. From Hagerstown. "I believe that we have been visited by beings from outer space. After they observed our country and the rest of the planet, they concluded that they wanted nothing to do with us and took off at warp speed. Can you blame them?" Not if they read mail call, I can't. And finally, this apple of gold from a Hagerstown caller. "If you want your dreams to come true, don't oversleep. I trust you're having a great day." I am having a lovely day, thank you. And remember, you cannot direct the wind, but you can adjust the sail. You know which philosopher said that? Neither do I. But whoever it was, wouldn't you love to punch him in the face? Thanks for watching.